This is a lecture from Open Tuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
In this chapter, we're going to look at partnerships. Now, in order to be able to understand this chapter, you must have worked through some previous chapters. Chapters on adjusting profits, chapters on capital allowances, chapters on losses for individuals, because all of those rules are applicable to partnerships. So if you haven't been through those chapters, will you please do so, because I'm going to assume that that's what you've done, and deal with this chapter accordingly, because as those three chapters have already covered some of the information, there's no need to bring it in here, and therefore this is quite a short chapter. So a partnership is a single trading entity, but for tax purposes, and this is why you need to have watched those other chapters. For tax purposes, each individual partner is effectively treated as trading in his own right. So if you can do individuals adjusting profits, if you can do capital allowances, if you can do losses for individuals, and you can do self-assessment and all of that sort of information, if you can do that for individuals who are trading, then you can do partnerships. Each individual is then assessed on their share. So although a partnership return has to be completed in reality, all that does is show the accounts and what the split is between each one of the partners. So a lot of the information in this chapter is about how do we split a partnership profit between various partners, and what effect does that have. Again, they will be assessed on a tax year basis, the same as sole traders, and in the exams that you'll be doing here up to March 25, you will always have either a 31st of March or a 5th of April year end. Partnership profits or losses for an accounting period, same way, exactly the same pro forma as you would a sole trader. Now, the only twist: partners' salaries and interest on capital debited on the statement of profit and loss are not deductible as expenses, obviously. Simply allocation of the profit between each one of the partners. Think of it like this. Think of it as a very poorly drawn bucket. If they have salaries, they are not real salaries, they are drawings, and they come out of the partnership bucket. If they have interest on their capital, that also comes out of the bucket. You wouldn't think I was a qualified artist, would you? The remaining profit is then divided with all the partners according to their profit sharing ratio. Okay, so they are entitled to salaries. They may be entitled to interest on their capital that they've invested in the partnership, but each one of those has to come out of the bucket, so to speak. Now, if there is an alteration to that profit sharing agreement in the profit sharing situation, then you are going to have to allocate that bucket perhaps between two periods of time, and we're going to have a look at that, what it looks like with example number 1. So Doug and Rob are in partnership. Their trading income is for the 31st of September. Now, I did say earlier on that about it being March. This is just purely for allocating profits, and therefore the date really doesn't matter. It's the principle that matters as to how you would do this. Up to the 30th of June, the profits were shared 3-2 after paying salaries of 3,000 and 2,000, and then from the 1st of July they were shared 2-1 after paying salaries of 6 and 4. So we are to show the allocation of trade profits for the accounting period 30th of September. So this is all about allocating £18,000 between two individuals who are getting both salaries and interest, and then they have profit sharing of the rest of the bucket, but the sharing ratio has changed. So let's have a look how that would work in practice. Okay, so this is for the year end 30 September, and the bucket contains £18,000. Always worth putting that in there then, because that kind of explains to remind you of how much the total of this is. Okay, so from the 1st of October 22 to the 30th of June 23, we have 9/12 of that profit of 18,000, which will be a total of 13,500. Okay, so they do have salaries, 9/12. So Doug has 2,250 and Rob had 1,500. The balance of that 13,000, so which is, let me put that in there, the balance of that, which is 9,750. So that plus that equals that, and this is the balancing figure here, and that's shared 3-2 according to the question, which means Rob gets 3,900 and Doug gets 5,850. So Doug's total is 8,100 and his total is 5,400. So that's the first half, but we've only separated out 13,500. So for the second half of the year, or the second proportion of the year rather, we have a total of 4,3/12 of the profit, which leaves us with 4,500. Okay, so we have salaries for 3 months of the year, which is a total of 2,500, with Rob having 1,000 and Doug having 1,500. And then the balance of that 4,500 will be shared 2-1. So the balance of that is £2,000, and Rob will get 667 and Doug will get 1,333. Just round these figures up. So that's 7,076 and that's 10,933. So when you do that, make sure you lay it out nice and neat. Obviously we've put the total in, we've then separated it out clearly with the dates, and we've put all the calculations in. So that's what's really important. Make sure that you do all of that. If we go back to the notes now, capital allowances are deducted. Okay, trade profits exactly the same as for individuals. You are unlikely to get privately used assets. They are more likely, you're not going to get that sort of question. Now, losses are allocated exactly the same as profits are. Loss relief claims are exactly the same as sole traders, and each one potentially picks their own, whichever is best for them. Any losses carried forward, you've got all of the losses, current year and or previous year, opening years, closing years, going into gains. Okay. Yep, all of those are all the same, and you must have watched the losses chapter. Not going to recover those here, there's no point. Chapter clearly shows exactly what's going on. So, exam technique, pro forma for adjusted profits and capital allowances, exactly the same as sole traders. So your section B, section C question, where you have to adjust profits and or do capital allowances, it would be exactly the same. And then don't forget, if you are then, that's the bucket, so to speak, don't forget you may have to allocate the salaries accordingly, or you may have to do a complete capital allowances computation. It may be examined elsewhere. There's a multiple choice kind of question here. Elizabeth and Henry have been partnership for many years. They prepare accounts to the 31st of March. Until the 31st of July, they were shared 70-30 to Elizabeth. So she's getting 70, he's getting 30. From the 1st of August, it was changed to 80-20. And we have profits of 120,000 in total. So how would we deal with this? Well, now we only need to deal with Henry's proportion. So we know that the total is going to come to 120. And we only need to deal with Henry because this is kind of all, this is a quick kind of question. So up to 31st of July, it was 70-30. Okay, that's a 4-month period. So that's 40%. And Henry's getting 30% at that point. So he's going to get 12,000 of that. And then the balance of the period, 8/12 of 120,000. Which is, oh wait a minute, we've got a salary here. Okay, so he's going to get a salary of 24 a year. So that's only 8/12 as well. So that's 16. So the balance of this, which would be 64,000. And he's getting, no he's not, he's getting 20% of that, isn't he? So that's 12,800. So that's his total, 40,800. Nice bit of maths. Where's that one? There you go. That's C.